Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Rich Francis from the Low Rich podcast. And I've been thinking, I've been seeing videos out there on YouTube. They've been out there for a while where a lot of people are talking about how do you survive Army basic training, um, top 5 things to do so you can graduate, what to bring, what not to bring to basic training, and even for the Marine Corps, the what to, how to make it through boot camp, blah, 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 whether it's Army, whether it's Navy, whether it's Air Force, whether it's Marines, and even Coast Guard. Top things to do, top 5 things to do. How do you act in basic training, blah, 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 blah. And, I enlisted in the Army in November 20th of 1987. I reported to Fort Jackson, South Carolina, 7 January 1988. Checked in at Charlie Company, 120th Reception Battalion. I was there for roughly 7 days. It was one of the coldest winters on the East Coast when I went there. And I'm a guy from California, colder than hell. I had jeans, I had tennis shoes, and I had a really light coat, really light jacket before I got my issues after 7 days. They actually shut down the training cycles for the other basic training units that were already in cycle. They waited, so we were actually held over in reception longer than normal. So we were there for about 7 days I believe it was from the 7th to the 14th. So normally you're in reception for a couple days, 3 days max. But we were there for 7 days, and there were some guys that were there before us that were held over for a couple months, so it sucked. But anyway, so I was there in 1988. I know I'm old. I enlisted, like I said, in 87. And when I got to basic training, I was assigned to Echo Company, 1st and 34th. That's Echo Company, 1st Battalion, 34th Infantry Regiment. And you know what? To me, basic training was a piece of cake. It really wasn't that hard. You hear people always want to glorify it. Oh my God, it was so hard. Of course, you're gonna get yelled at. Okay, of course you're gonna, you know, run a lot. Of course, you're gonna be tired. Of course, you're gonna be hungry. Of course, it's gonna be miserable. Of course, it's basic training. And what are you expecting? A party? So, when people start talking about, oh my God, basic training was so hard, blah, 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 maybe they weren't cut out for going, because back in 88, we didn't have all these videos like I'm doing right now. We didn't have all this. There was no YouTube. There were certainly as hell wasn't any cell phones. So we didn't have any of this stuff. So when we wanted to know about basic training, it usually came from either a parent, a family member who had been in the military. So for me, it would have been if it was fathers or people my dad's age. They were in during either Korea and Vietnam, and of course that was during wartime, and it was a hell of a lot harder back then in the 70s and in the 50s and even in the 60s. So or you would get when I went in, my recruiter basically told me, hey, this is what you're going to need to bring. Don't bring all this crap. There was like a little, the recruiting station had like a little cut sheet that you could look at, and what to bring, what not to bring. And that was pretty much it. And don't go with some fat slob. That's the other thing. Don't go as a fat slob. So I was fortunate to play football in high school. So our double sessions in football were brutal. Thank you, Coach Trustrill, for kicking our ass. Coach Sanso for kicking our asses during double sessions, because actually double sessions in a lot of ways was harder than basic training physically sometimes, but it definitely got me ready for basic training. If you play sports, you should be fine. The number one thing, okay, when we got to basic training back then, okay, we had there really wasn't guys in at the time that had a lot of combat experience, especially the NCOs. The ones that did, we had a guy that jumped with the 82nd Airborne into Grenada. We had a couple other guys that had combat experience in Grenada. And then, of course, there was not our DI, not our drill sergeants, but some of the guys in and around post at Fort Jackson were Vietnam vets, especially when you went to the ranges and things like that. And so you definitely learn from those guys. Okay, those are the guys you want to listen to, the guys that have combat experience. Not like today where, geez, everyone in has been deployed or has seen combat. So you're always gonna get that. But back in '88, that was peacetime military, and we didn't have all that. So when I went to basic training at Fort Jackson, I went to the new barracks called the Starship, okay, over by the Burger King, not about maybe half a mile from where the Burger King is on post in Fort Jackson. Those of you who've been to Fort Jackson, you know where the Burger King is. Yeah, I don't know if it's still there, but we were about half a mile up the hill at what was called the Starship, basically brand new barracks. But our drill sergeants were all infantry guys. They had the blue little disc around their emblem on their drill sergeant hats, on their smokies. They were all expert infantrymen. They had their expert infantry badges, and they were pretty hardcore. So we definitely learned from guys, infantry guys, on how to be good soldiers and how to work hard. So again, like I said, when you go to basic training, of course you're going to work. Of course you're going to be tired, and of course you're going to be hungry. Okay, the main thing here is, okay, drum roll please. Brrr. The main thing you want to do in order to graduate and get through basic training is you don't quit. You just don't quit, okay? And you work hard. You don't quit and you work hard. Show your drill sergeants that you're a hard worker, okay? And you don't quit. If you don't quit, you'll make it. It's not that hard, okay? So I don't want to jump in on all the hype people talk about basic training, about how hard it is. Oh my God, it was a life changer. Look, is it a kick in the nuts? Sort of, okay? But it's not that hard. It's nothing you can't get through as long as you work hard and you don't quit. So two things. I said one thing. Two things you need to do. You need to work hard and don't quit, okay? When I went in, okay, they asked for, when you get through basic training, I don't know about nowadays, but when you get in, you get interviewed by all the DI drill sergeants. You get interviewed, they ask you questions, why you want to be there, blah, blah, blah. Excuse me, even before the actual training cycle is. Of course, you get smoked your first day in, as soon as you get to your basic training outfit. We went on the cattle cars, we did all that whole 9 yards. Anyway, when you get there, they interview you so they can pick who their squad leaders are and who their platoon guide is. Well, I really didn't pay attention to all that stuff. I just answered the questions, so I wasn't selected as a squad leader. But after the second week, guess what? I was a squad leader. And so, that's something that I enjoyed doing when I was in basic training. I enjoyed being a squad leader because like I said, I was two years out of high school, before I joined. So I still enjoyed leadership. I was a captain on my football team in high school. So I enjoyed that leadership, and I enjoyed mentoring and helping people in basic training, especially the guys who wanted to quit. There were some guys who just wanted to quit. They just wanted to give up because they said, oh my God, it's so physically hard. No, it's not. So I enjoyed being a squad leader and helping my fellow trainees during the time. But basic training wasn't that bad. Again, like I said, just don't quit, okay? Work hard and just don't quit, and you'll be fine. So to sum it all up, and I know I got a lot of friends out there who are in the Marine Corps, who are in the Air Force and in the Navy. I'll tell you what, yes, the guys in the Corps, your basic training is harder. Your boot camp is harder, and your DIs get in your face more so. But that being said, we're all part of the armed services, and we all fight together during war. Especially recently, Marine Corps fought with Army fought with the Marine Corps, and then the Air Force, and then of course with the Navy. So again, those videos out there, they kill me. I wish they wouldn't put so many videos out there saying how horrible basic training is, or how my experience of basic training. Look, my experience of basic training, it sucked, but as long as you don't quit and you work hard, you'll be fine. Another thing I always hear about is what about MEPS? You know, and MEPS is the Military Entrance Processing Station. That's what you go to when you're first getting into the Army, getting into the military. You go there for your physical. You fill a bunch of paperwork, you know, and you pick your MOS, and then you do your swearing in. And I don't understand why people always say, you know what, this is what you do have to do to prepare for MEPS. This is what you have to do. This is what not to do. Look, and we'll do another video on this, or I'll do another video on this. But my recruiter just said, go there, answer the questions, you'll be fine. My recruiter did a good job, prepared me well for Sergeant Perez down at the West Portal recruiting station back in the day. She was good to go. Also Sergeant Rowe at the West Portal in San Francisco recruiting station. Great folks, both E7s, I believe. Great NCOs. They set you straight. They told you exactly what you needed to do, and made sure the paperwork was squared away. It was squared away, and I had no problems at MEPS, and it was good to go. And so we'll talk a little bit more about that next time. Again, lastly, 2 things you need to do to be successful in Army basic training: work hard and don't quit. Okay, so if you like the video, give a thumbs up, okay? And also hit the subscribe button, hit that notification bell, so whenever Los and I put a video up, you'll get notified and you can see our latest video. Also, if you want to reach out to us, you can hit us on our email. Our email is at thelosandrichpodcast@gmail.com. That's thelosandrichpodcast@gmail.com. We're on Facebook, where you're probably watching this video right now. On Facebook, we're at The Los and Rich Podcast on Facebook. Again, I want to say what's up. Thank you to all of our subscribers, all supporters out there, and especially to Los, who just posted a video. He was at the Niner game. I hope he had a great time at the Niner game, Los. And again, thank you everyone for all the support and love that we're getting. Hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell, give a thumbs up, all right? Mahalo, and we'll talk to you soon.